Set in a small American state, we meet Maddie, a woman who rushes out of her house in a panic when she sees her ex-boyfriend Gary getting ready to tow her car. She demands to know what he is doing, and Gary hands her a court notice. It orders him to seize her vehicle because Maddie has a stack of unpaid property taxes that has gotten out of control. Maddie is furious. She works as a cafe waitress and also drives for a rideshare service, so that car is her entire livelihood. She snaps that she cannot pay off her taxes if the only car she has is being taken away. Desperate, she tries to charm Gary, acting like she still has feelings for him. For a second, it almost works until Gary spots another man walking out of Maddie's house. In that moment, he assumes Maddie is just playing him, and he decides he is towing the car no matter what. Maddie insists the guy is her cousin, but Gary refuses to listen. Annoyed and done with the drama, he drives off and leaves Maddie stuck without transportation. With no other option, she straps on roller skates just to get to work. On the way, she spots her car parked nearby and immediately sees an opportunity. While Gary is inside a cafe ordering food, Maddie tries to steal the car back. She moves fast, loosening the towing gear and lowering the vehicle, ready to make her escape. But right as she tries to drive off, the car jerks and gets stuck because she forgot to undo a strap underneath. The whole thing turns into a noisy mess. Gary hears the commotion, storms outside, and angrily puts the car back where it was. Maddie's reckless stunt quickly pulls the police into the situation, and she is suddenly facing real trouble. Luckily, her friend Eby, who is a lawyer, steps in to help her out. Even then, he makes it clear she is on thin ice. If she breaks the law again, she could lose her driver's license for good. This is where her problems really begin. This is no hard feelings. Later, Maddie meets up at the cafe with her best friends, Sarah and Jim, a married couple. She vents about how her entire morning has gone off the rails. Hearing how bad things are, Sarah shows her something that sounds almost too good to be true. A prize listing from a wealthy couple. They are looking for a young woman to date their 19-year-old son, and the reward is a car. There is only one catch. The girl is supposed to be 20, and the job is basically to help their son stop being such an introvert before he heads off to college. Maddie needs a car so badly that she makes a decision on the spot, even though she does not fit the age requirement at all. The next day, Maddie makes her way to the rich couple's house on roller skates, struggling the entire trip just to get there. All that exhaustion disappears the moment she sees the car that could become her reward. Inside, she is welcomed by the wealthy couple, Laird and Allison, who invite her in and begin interviewing her. At first, they hesitate when they learn that Maddie is 32 years old, far older than what they were looking for. Maddie quickly argues her case, explaining that a mature woman like her is far more reliable and experienced than a younger girl. After listening to her long explanation, Laird and Allison begin to agree. In the end, they decide to trust her and officially give her the job. They then explain their situation. Their son, Percy, is introverted, socially awkward, and spends most of his time alone in his room playing video games. However, he is talented when it comes to music. The problem is his shyness keeps him from performing in front of others. As parents, they hope Maddie can help change Percy before he starts college, especially so he will not be afraid of being close to women anymore. Hearing this, Maddie asks what exactly her role involves. Is she just meant to keep him company, or does she need to go further and teach him how to be confident with women? The parents make it clear that the details are up to her, if that is what it takes. Their only request is that Maddie keeps everything a secret and makes the whole situation feel as natural as possible. The following morning, Maddie officially begins her assignment by visiting the animal shelter where Percy volunteers. As her opening move, she pretends she wants to adopt a dog so she can get close to him. Percy is visibly flustered when he sees Maddie, especially because of how boldly she presents herself. Maddie insists she wants to adopt a dog and asks to be helped by Percy specifically. Percy introduces her to a dog named Milo, but before handing him over, he takes Maddie into his office and starts asking her standard adoption questions. Since her real goal is getting closer to Percy, Maddie behaves flirtatiously and keeps moving closer to him. Over time, Percy grows uncomfortable. He notices she is not taking the questions seriously and eventually decides to end the process altogether. In the end, he refuses to let her adopt Milo. Realizing Percy is about to leave, Maddie panics and forces the situation. She insists on driving him home, using a van she borrowed from Jim. Percy refuses at first, but Maddie does not back down. She even throws Percy's bike into the van, leaving him with no choice but to go along with her. During the drive, Maddie tries to lighten the mood, but her jokes completely backfire. When she casually jokes about kidnapping Percy, he panics. His fear gets worse when he notices tools and a machete in the back of the van, convincing him that something is seriously wrong. The situation spirals even further when Maddie drives him straight to her house. Overwhelmed with fear, Percy sprays pepper spray at Maddie. Once she recovers, Maddie explains that she has no bad intentions, and that she was simply impressed by him. Hearing this, Percy calms down and feels flattered. As a way to make up for what just happened, he ends up inviting Maddie out on a date the next day.
You tried kidnapping me!
I can't kidnap you. You're 19. Grow up.
I'm sorry.
The following night, Percy shows up dressed in a blazer paired with shorts, an awkward combination that immediately makes Maddie laugh and tease him a little. When it comes time to order drinks, Percy chooses milk tea, but Maddie pushes him to try alcohol, insisting it will help him get used to it before college. When the drinks arrive, Percy barely manages a sip before throwing up all over the table. Right at that moment, a man named Travis shows up. He is Maddie's ex-boyfriend, and he clearly wants to ruin the date. He provokes Maddie by bragging that he is now married after she abandoned him, then warns Percy to be careful with the woman sitting in front of him. After Travis leaves, the atmosphere turns painfully awkward. To escape the tension, Maddie suggests they go somewhere else and takes Percy to a quiet beach. There, she encourages him to swim, but Percy refuses, saying it is late and he is scared of sharks. Maddie keeps pushing, even trying to tempt him with her confidence and appearance. Eventually, Percy gives in after Maddie scolds him for overthinking and promises an exciting experience in the water. Just as things are about to begin, 3 drunk teenagers suddenly steal their clothes and start laughing, completely ignoring Maddie's warnings. Furious, Maddie storms out of the water without hesitation and attacks the teens. Even though she takes a hit at first, she quickly turns the tables, overpowering them and slamming one of them to the ground. Terrified, the 3 teens run away. After that chaos, Maddie returns to the water, hoping to continue what was interrupted. This time, Percy refuses. He explains that he only wants to be intimate with someone he truly knows. Hearing this rejection, Maddie explodes with anger and walks away. When Percy tries to ask for his clothes and phone back, Maddie, fed up and furious, floors the gas pedal. Percy ends up clinging to the front of the car as it speeds off. On the road, they suddenly cross paths with a police car. Panic sets in fast when the officer makes a U-turn and starts chasing them. Maddie floors the gas, racing toward a railroad crossing and narrowly avoiding disaster. Somehow they manage to lose the police and hide out at Maddie's house. Once inside, Maddie tries to seduce Percy by dancing in front of him. Instead of being drawn in, Percy thinks she looks stressed and overwhelmed. Maddie does not stop there and asks Percy to dance on her instead. But the moment feels awkward, almost like she is dealing with a child rather than a grown man. As the night goes on and the tension slowly builds, Percy finally agrees to take things further. But just as they are about to begin, he suddenly breaks out in an itchy rash across his back. It turns out this allergic reaction always shows up when his anxiety spikes. With that, everything comes to a halt. They end up spending the rest of the night talking about their pasts, with Maddie gently treating Percy's back. The next day, the mood shifts completely. The 2 of them have fun at the beach with Milo, the dog they adopted together. They also fool around playing basketball and arcade shooting games until they are eventually kicked out of the mall for causing too much trouble. After that, Percy gives Maddie a hat as a small gift, making her smile. By the end of the day, the date goes well enough that Percy finally feels confident enough to kiss Maddie. Sometime later in the same area, they run into a man named Jody, who used to be Percy's caretaker when he was younger. Jody deliberately sends Percy away to retrieve a frisbee so he can speak privately with Maddie. He warns her not to hurt or take advantage of Percy, claiming he knows exactly what kind of woman she is. Maddie firmly shuts him down, making it clear that it is none of his business. The next day, while Maddie is hosting Sarah and Jim at her place, a real estate agent suddenly shows up with an offer to buy her house for a high price. Maddie turns it down without hesitation, since the house is the only thing her late mother left behind. That night, Maddie and Percy go out again, this time riding in a luxury car. Inside, they exchange flowers before heading into dinner. During the meal, Maddie pushes Percy to play the piano that is set up at the venue. Shy at first, Percy refuses, but under pressure, he finally gives in. Nervous but determined, he begins playing the piano and singing a deeply romantic song. It turns out Percy has an incredible singing voice. The moment he starts performing, everyone in the room is stunned, and his song ends with loud applause. After revealing his talent on the piano and with his voice, the entire mood of the night shifts into one of admiration and excitement. Not long after, Percy is approached by Natalie, a former classmate from high school who comes over to compliment him. The two quickly fall into an animated conversation, completely forgetting that Maddie is sitting right beside them. In that moment, Natalie even invites Percy to a party happening later that night. Seeing this makes Maddie visibly upset, and she quickly pushes Natalie away from their table. Percy notices Maddie's reaction and assumes she is feeling jealous. He tries to calm her down, explaining that once he starts college, he will still make time to see her during breaks. However, since Maddie has always viewed their relationship as nothing more than an arrangement, she tells Percy not to take things too seriously. Hearing that leaves Percy confused and hurt. He abruptly leaves Maddie behind and heads straight to the car. After leaving the restaurant, Percy drives Maddie to the party Natalie mentioned earlier. After a moment of hesitation, Maddie decides to go inside to look for Percy. Inside the party, 3 young men mock Maddie, saying, "A woman her age has no place at a party filled with college kids." Maddie immediately fires back at them, and the confrontation grows loud enough to draw attention from everyone around.
Whoa! Is that an insult? Say that again.
No, I didn't mean it homophobic. It was a joke.
After searching room by room, Maddie finally finds Percy, just as he is about to become intimate with Natalie. She quickly intervenes by forcing her way into the room. Inside, she realizes Percy is heavily intoxicated after taking pills given to him by Natalie. Maddie acts fast, helping him purge the substances and recover in the bathroom. Once Percy starts to come around, Natalie's parents and other partygoers suddenly surround Maddie, insulting her and demanding she leave. Maddie snaps back, angrily standing up to them, fed up with wealthy people who act like they own everything around them. When Percy sees Maddie being attacked by the crowd, he tries to step in and defend her, but in the chaos, he accidentally strikes Maddie instead. Humiliated and overwhelmed, Maddie finally takes Percy home. On the drive, Percy says he feels ready to take things further because he believes he is in love with Maddie. At first, Maddie is touched, but she ultimately turns him down, realizing that his confession comes while he is still intoxicated, and that his feelings are not truly clear or grounded. A short time later, the next morning, Percy casually tells his parents over breakfast that he now has a girlfriend named Maddie, even though there is a big age gap between them. His parents are not surprised at all since the relationship was part of their plan from the beginning. What does shock them is Percy's next statement. He says he no longer wants to go to college because his girlfriend cannot travel far from home. Hearing this, his father firmly insists that Percy still has to go to college. To calm the rising tension between father and son, Percy's mother sends him outside to take his new car for a drive. At the same time, she quickly calls Maddie. Before the conversation can even begin, Maddie admits that she can no longer continue with this arrangement because Percy has started to develop real feelings for her. Percy's father then explains the situation clearly. Percy is refusing college because he does not want to be far away from Maddie. He asks Maddie to continue pretending to be Percy's girlfriend so that Percy will agree to go to school, promising that the car will still be hers as payment. Unfortunately, Percy accidentally hears this entire conversation through the phone connection to his car. The truth hits him all at once, leaving him stunned, crushed, and completely heartbroken. Not long after, during lunch, Percy's parents notice something off when they see him drinking a large amount of wine. At the same time, Percy deliberately invites Maddie to the house without telling his parents. The atmosphere at the table instantly turns tense and uncomfortable. When Percy brings up the situation and pushes for honesty, he suddenly walks away, leaving the table because his friend is waiting outside for a plan they have already set in motion. Percy and his friend take the car that was meant to be Maddie's reward and drive it deep into the forest. There, Percy vents his anger by destroying the car, taking out his frustration on both Maddie and his parents.
Yeah? Okay.
After returning home, he avoids the dining table entirely and locks himself in his room. Seeing this, Maddie follows Percy into his room to find out what is going on. Trying to comfort him, she initiates intimacy, and Percy agrees almost immediately. As Maddie prepares, Percy is guided through the moment, but before anything really happens, he finishes prematurely, creating an awkward and emotional situation. Afterward, Percy reveals that he destroyed the car because he feels Maddie played with his emotions. Hearing this, Maddie finally confesses everything. She admits she regrets it all and explains that she only took the job to save her house. Even so, Percy refuses to accept her explanation and tells her to leave his house immediately. The next day, Percy tells his parents to stop controlling his life, saying he is an adult now. This time, they agree. Percy returns to the quiet routine he had before meeting Maddie, spending his days alone in his room and playing video games once again. Meanwhile, Maddie throws herself into work, saving money with more determination than ever. She even returns to driving for a rideshare service, despite the damaged roof on her car. As time passes, her effort finally pays off. Maddie reaches her savings goal and manages to clear all of her overdue property taxes. She celebrates this small victory with Sarah and Jim. During that moment, Maddie learns that her two closest friends are planning to move to Florida after their baby is born. The cost of living has become too high, and they can no longer afford to stay. The news shocks Maddie, especially when Sarah gently suggests that maybe holding on to the house is only making Maddie's life harder. Sarah believes that Maddie's late mother would never want her daughter to suffer just to protect a building. Even after a long and heartfelt conversation, Maddie refuses to change her mind. Stubborn as ever, she dismisses the advice and turns her attention to a man nearby. After getting to know him, Maddie, who has been lonely for a long time, brings him back to her house. But in the middle of their time together, she suddenly comes across one of Percy's old toys that was left behind. The sight of it brings back memories of Percy, along with his words about only wanting intimacy with someone he truly knows. That realization hits Maddie instantly. Without hesitation, she stops everything and asks the man to leave. After that, she sets out to find Percy again, checking the animal shelter and then his home. Eventually, she learns that Percy is attending an orientation event at his new college. Maddie rushes there and manages to find him. But Percy, still hurt and angry, ignores her and jumps into his car. Even when Maddie insists that her feelings are real and no longer an act, Percy refuses to listen. Instead, he drives off recklessly, repeating the same dangerous behavior he once did with Maddie. Their chaotic chase leads them all the way to the beach, sending nearby visitors into a panic. In a shocking moment, Percy drives the car straight into the ocean. Realizing the danger, he quickly helps Maddie out and brings her safely back to shore. There, Maddie finally takes the chance to apologize sincerely. Overwhelmed with emotion, Percy breaks down and forgives her. Together, they talk about what comes next. Maddie decides to sell her house and move to California, while Percy commits to continuing his college journey. In the end, they agree to remain friends, choosing honesty and growth over resentment. In the final moments of the story, Maddie surprises Sarah and Jim. Instead of selling her house to a stranger, she sells it to her best friends at a very low price. Because of that, Sarah and Jim no longer have to leave the city. The gesture deeply moves them. The next day, Percy finishes packing and says goodbye to his parents as he prepares to start college. Waiting outside is Maddie, ready to drive him to California. Together, they head toward a new chapter, leaving the past behind and stepping into a fresh beginning. So the moral of the story is never lie for a free car, never flirt with your tow guy, and absolutely never let rich parents outsource life lessons because someone will end up pepper sprayed, heartbroken, or both.